Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Christian with Reaper Discs, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Discraft Zone. The Zone is and has always been known as the go-to overstable approach disc from most any manufacturer. Almost every one of them have either tried to replicate the Zone or failed to replicate the Zone, but everyone has been trying to have that spot in their lineup filled, and the Zone is easily the most recognizable of all of those discs. So, what is there to say about the Zone? It's very overstable. It's very easy to replicate shots because of that. It's not very touchy. You don't have to have perfect touch and release every single time to get it to fly the exact same as you would a very neutral disc. This right here can fix a lot of small misreleases. Granted, it's not going to be kind of that magic touch to be able to fix every shot, but it is able to, because of its overstability, to fight out of most angles that you could put it on and it still fade at the end. Because of that, it's a very good disc for being able to recreate and replicate shots over and over and over again, and it's easy to build confidence in a disc like that. So because of its overstability, it's also a very, very good choice in very windy conditions. It's going to fight the wind really well. It's just board flat all the way across the top. It doesn't have a lot of glide, so the wind can't carry it like it would a domier approach disc or putter. And it's just gonna do what it does. It's gonna fade at the end, and then it's gonna hit the ground. And almost without exception, it's going to do that every single time it's thrown. So when I got out in the field and started throwing the Zone, I wasn't surprised with what it does. I've bagged a Zone for a long time in my playing career, so I'm very familiar with the disc and how it performs. So it was no surprise that whenever I threw it on a hyzer angle, it never moved from that hyzer angle. It stayed on the exact same angle, and then as it started to slow down and getting closer to coming back down to the ground, it got to a little bit steeper angle and then landed. Exactly what a Zone typically does. When thrown flat, it did fly straight for a fair amount of the flight, and then it started fading and catching the hyzer angle again, and hyzered and came back to the ground. Very cut and dry, very simple flight, but it did fly straight for a decent amount of the flight before that fade started to kick back in. When thrown on an anhyzer angle, it did hold the ante for a little bit while it was still up to speed. As long as it maintained that high speed from the initial throw, it did hold the anhyzer angle. But the moment it started slowing down and the rotation started decreasing, it started fighting back out almost immediately and then faded pretty hard back into the ground. Thrown full power, and when I throw full power, I do throw with a little bit of hyzer angle. Thrown full power, this did flip up to flat in the slightest little bit and rode straight for a majority of the flight. But again, as soon as it started, slowing down, that fade kicked back in and it, hyzered back. So again, with most conditions and throwing styles, the Zone is going to fight out of about anything and hyzer. Like I said, because of that, it's a disc that you can really get comfortable with and have a lot of confidence knowing that kind of no matter what happens, if you slip just a little bit going through the motions and you don't release it with enough hyzer, it's not going to flip up and, fly in an opposite direction. It's going to fade. All that being said, it is a very reliable disc, very good in the wind, like I had already mentioned, and just an all-around fantastic approach disc, especially for those 200 foot and in shots where you just need something to get up and then hyzer back onto the basket. So how many of you guys out there bag the zone? What do you think about the zone? Leave me a comment down below and let me know. If you want a zone for yourself, head on over to reaperdisc.com, check one out there, plus a multitude of other discs and awesome apparel that you can find. Again, I'm Christian with Reaper Discs, and I'll see you guys in the next video.